Good morning, ghouls! We have officially made it through an entire week of our 13 nights of Poe. I hope that your morning is starting off extra cozy. Oh, let me grab my coffee first. I haven't even drank any of this yet. Pumpkin spice marshmallow latte. There we go. Nightmare Before Christmas everything. I'm having a little bit of FOMO because I missed out on those glow-in-the-dark Nightmare Before Christmas Starbucks tumblers. When I first saw them, I was like, oh, I don't need them. No worries. But then I saw them glowing in the dark. I'm like, oh, well, there's that. They only celebrate their 30th anniversary once. I think they did have 2 rounds of it, and I missed both of them. They look amazing. All right, day number 7. We have another squish bag, which means we're gonna be working on our project again today with the yarn Shadow One. Another color that I want to be a staple in my yarn dungeon, especially with the Nevermore. I've already decided that I want to make a cardigan with the Nevermore color, and I'm thinking that would look really pretty as pockets, and then maybe do some patches or cross stitch on the top of it. Maybe I should do that actually. Continue with this cross stitch theme of redecorating every single cardigan in my room. Here we have our next clue, clue number 3. We're starting to fill in the skull a little bit with this shadow one. We have a little more movement in this skull. The yarn is on pipot and 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. Again, we need the embroidery needle in order to work this up. I could not sleep last night, so I did get a jump start on mine. So my skull already has the shading in. I did take some video of what it looks like by itself without the shading, and then I got rolling last night. I don't know what the deal was, but anyways, couldn't sleep, so figured I would work on this. And since the shading on here, there's really not that much, I do have quite a bit extra to now play around with on another project. I do not have said project in mind. I'm gonna have to find a yarn bowl to start placing these in, like all my extra Poe yarn that I have, because I want it to be worked up together in something. Maybe at the end, because I have just a tiny bit of the Nevermore. Then I have, I mean, obviously for the shadow one, I have quite a bit, and also for the skull, I have quite a bit of that left as well. I'm thinking 20 by 20 stitches using my 4mm crochet hook. So if you have an idea, shout it out. Send them all my way, because this is what I'm doing today. I am chilling in the yarn dungeon and working on, obviously, this project, but this part is done for me now. Backtrack a little bit. If you need a little reminder of cross stitch and how I go about it, you can find that in not yesterday, but the day before. There's one that says big cross stitch letters on there, and I walk through my process and how I go about it. So if you wanted to check that out, it is all there waiting and ready for you. But I have some projects that I'm just gonna keep working on. Obviously, my Cheeto cardigan, I am gonna power through that a little bit. I didn't get too far. You know what? Yes, I did. I did get pretty far last night, just throwing this on. What was I watching? I had Disney Plus on. There was a couple of different Halloween stuff. Oh, Halloween Town. I ran through the entire series. What is there, 3 or 4 of them? I just clicked on the first Halloween Town and it rolled right through that. And then on Huluween, there was one called Ghost Town, which was brand new. Watch that. All family friendly type of movies. Really good background to have. I mean, Zombie Town, you know, like, it was cute. I'm not gonna say it was my favorite because I like campy horror, and this one was very family friendly. It was good ambiance to have. To everyone who shouted out, I don't see Cheetos, all I see is pumpkin guts, and the Surrey alpaca little fluffy bit reminds me of the guts that are stuck to the inside when you put the candle in there. Thank you so much for shouting that out, because yeah, now I see that, and this is 100% gonna be my pumpkin guts shrug. Cheetos just got in my brain, and that was it. I couldn't think of anything else, and it was right there. So very obvious. Pumpkin guts shrug. I'm gonna continue to work on this today. How many rows do I have? I normally do about 30 I have 18 rows right now, or rounds, I guess. I think I am gonna stop at 30, actually, because that's a pretty good size, and I just need it to be a little drapey. I want this one to be a little more form-fitting than some of my bigger movie shrugs that I've made. Those ones are extra cozy, but this, since I'm gonna call it the Pumpkin Guts shrug, I want to wear it when I go pumpkin picking, which today would be a perfect day for that, but I just have to hold off until I get this finished. Look at the drape on that, though. It has such movement. Do you also do that with your projects when it's half done? And you know in your head that yes, this is a fingering weight yarn and we have a little bit of Surrey alpaca, so obviously it's gonna have a lot of movement to it, but when you see it, you're like, wow, that is pretty. Okay, 18 rows. This is how much I have left of both of them. The Surrey alpaca I'm totally gonna be fine with. This, though, I think is going to be my limiting factor of if I can actually get to 30 rows. If not, I'm totally fine with it being even a cropped shrug. I'm just going to keep going until I'm done with the yarn. This is a very go with the flow type of project. I'm not going to put too much stress on it other than I would like to get it done. I can hold off until tomorrow. It's just I was going to go last weekend and it ended up being 90 degrees. Like, not even lying. It was so freaking hot and the idea just, it didn't seem, the vibes were not there. I didn't want to have to put shorts and a tank top on to go to a pumpkin patch when all I had to do was wait literally 24 hours and the weather changed and it was 40 degrees. So here we are. The other reason I'm not worried about running out of yarn and if I'm not making it to 30 rows is because I have a ton of Muse 2320 in the vintage vinyl, which after we decided it's pumpkin guts, this is gonna go with it really, really well with all of the little beehives in it. The schlubby, I love the schlubby yarn. So I have this and then I have a DK weight, I think. Take this one up today and hold these two together and that will be, I wanted it to be a border of like 2 or 3 rows, but if I need to make it a little bit bigger, even if I need 10 more rows, I think it's still gonna look really good. Fun fact, caking yarn when you're tired but you can't sleep, it took forever. Like this thing, because of the fact that it's fingering weight yarn, I just kept looking at my Swift and I'm like, I have so much yarn on here left. What the heck? Note to self, cake my yarn up before I get super tired, have it setting ready to go. That way, if I can't sleep, I can just grab it and go. That was just an ordeal. Oh, and then I did decide that I'm gonna cake this up. I am gonna make a second version of this Tweety Owl. We're sticking with it. Tweety Cowl, that's what it is. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this part here. And it is a DK weight yarn, which is kind of perfect for this. Or do I hold these two together? No, you know what? I don't. I already answered my question. I have a bunch of the leather bound left. The leather bound in the 1-ply fingering weight yarn. I'm gonna hold that with this. There we go. Okay, so I will have a tweed version and a plain version and they will be exactly the same because they have the leather bound in it. I got a pumpkin picking shawl and an apple picking cowl. That just feels right. Ooh, speaking of that, apple picking. Have you done that this year yet? Always on my list. I at least have to do it once because I have a full day in October where I set up my double boiler and make carameled chocolate covered apples. There's a lot. I had to like really think about that. I'm like, what's all the things that goes in it too? So a caramel apple and then you let that sit and then put that into a dark chocolate. Then there's like 2 or 3 other type of chocolates that I dunk it into as well. Cover it in sprinkles, cover it in whatever else I can find on there. A lot of times I like to do like crushed up bits of dark chocolate on the top of it too, as well as the sprinkles. I just make like a whole day out of it. It's such a Halloween moment and my house smells amazing afterwards, but I have to get the apples first. And it's either this week or next week. Well, it's either today or next week. And I'm thinking next like Wednesday. That would work pretty good. It would kind of be fun to go apple picking on Friday the 13th though, and then immediately go pumpkin picking. There are a couple of different haunted houses near me that have pumpkin picking and an apple orchard fairly close, like at least less than a mile away. Like they're all together. They got together and were like, hey, you know what we should do? Fall. Fall explosion. Let's do all that stuff. I have to double check and see what their time is and everything because that would be something really, really fun. I don't want to miss doing that. I do it every year. Then wrap them up and box them and to gift them away. I have some fun stickers that I put on the boxes that says everything that's in there because these caramel apples, I'm telling you, it's not a you can pick it up and bite it. You have to like cut through the apple, make the tiny little pieces of it. It's definitely a share type of caramel apple, and I just really enjoy making them. At Michael's, they have a fondue pot that you can melt chocolates, caramels, I'm sure you can melt cheese, whatever you would put in a fondue pot, but it's a cauldron and it has like little witchy finger sticks for it. I'm gonna double check that they still have it. Oh, they totally do. Sweet Tooth Fairy, 3-piece melting pot cauldron. Though I love my double boiler, this might be kind of fun to play around with. Check it out if you haven't already. It's been out for a while, so honestly, you've probably already seen it. But in case you haven't, they have a 25% off coupon right now. I think it's in the entire store. Plus, all of their Halloween stuff is already at least 40% off. Haven't been to Michael's lately, like at all this week. Oh my gosh, I have not gone Halloween decor hunting. Honestly, at this point, everything is pretty much out and we're starting to see the next season creep in. So by October 2nd or 3rd, I'm normally done with it anyways. And now it's all just online shopping, which I also love because I can be cozy in my house, crochet, and check out some spooky decor. But back to the pattern. Don't forget that we have the extra graphs. There are 3 more that go with this. So if you have decided to go with a different one other than the one that's in your box, you now have this color. So wherever that is at on your graph, you can go ahead and start doing the cross stitch for that. I'm gonna finish up my coffee, get going on my pumpkin guts shrug. I hope you have a super cozy fall-filled day, and I will see you tomorrow.